A monk once walked into a bustling kingdom, carrying nothing but an empty bowl. People laughed at him, mocked him, and even the king himself demanded, "What wisdom can a beggar with an empty bowl possibly give me?" But what happened next shook the kingdom forever, and it may just change your life too. The Arrival. Long ago, in a land of golden palaces and crowded marketplaces, a wandering monk entered the capital city. His robe was tattered, his sandals thin, and in his hands he carried only a small wooden bowl. Empty, plain, unremarkable. The people of the city looked at him with pity and with ridicule. "Look," one merchant jeered, "another beggar come to drain us." Others laughed, tossing scraps at his feet. But the monk smiled gently, bowed, and kept walking. His steps were slow, steady, as though each one carried a secret rhythm only he could hear. When he reached the palace gates, the guards crossed their spears. "The king is not to be disturbed by wanderers." The monk only lifted his bowl and said, "I have brought a gift for the king." The guards sneered, but curiosity drew them to let him in. After all, what trouble could a ragged monk with an empty bowl bring? Inside the grand hall, the king sat upon a throne of gold, surrounded by ministers, nobles, and courtiers. The air smelled of incense and pride. The monk bowed deeply and placed the empty bowl at the king's feet. The hall erupted with laughter. "A gift! You bring me an empty bowl? Are you mocking the crown?" But the monk's eyes did not waver. His voice was calm, steady. "This bowl, Your Majesty, is like the human heart. No matter how much you pour into it, wealth, fame, power, it will never be full, for the bowl is bottomless." The court fell silent. The king, intrigued, leaned forward. "Then prove it," he demanded. The king ordered his servants to fill the monk's bowl with gold coins. One after another, coins clattered into the wooden bowl, but to everyone's astonishment, it never filled. They poured in jewels, pearls, and treasures, yet the bowl swallowed them all without end. Ministers exchanged nervous glances. Courtiers whispered in disbelief. The king's hands trembled as he watched his wealth vanish, yet the bowl remained empty. Finally, he shouted, "Stop! Enough! What is this sorcery?" The monk bowed and replied softly, "No sorcery, Your Majesty. This is the nature of desire. Like this bowl, the human heart, without wisdom and contentment, can never be full. No matter how much you pour into it, it remains empty." The hall was utterly still. The king, ruler of armies, master of riches, sat frozen, his face pale. He realized that though he had conquered lands and amassed treasures beyond count, his nights were sleepless, his heart restless. Like the bowl, he too was empty. In that moment, the king stood up, descended from his throne, and bowed before the ragged monk. "Teach me," he whispered. The monk smiled, lifted the bowl, and turned it upside down. "The way to fullness, O king, is not by filling, but by emptying. Empty your pride, your greed, your endless thirst. Only then will your heart hold true peace." Tears welled in the king's eyes. For the first time in his reign, he felt a strange, liberating silence. Years later, the story of the empty bowl spread across villages and generations. People repeated it not as a tale of magic, but as a mirror of their own lives. We too chase endlessly. New possessions, new goals, new status, new applause. And yet, like the king, we wonder why joy slips through our fingers. The truth is simple, yet profound. Happiness is not in what we collect, but in what we release. The heart becomes full only when it learns to be empty of ego, greed, and fear. True richness is the peace of needing less, not the hunger of grasping more. So the next time you feel restless, chasing the next milestone, remember the monk and his empty bowl. Ask yourself, am I trying to fill what cannot be filled? For the bowl of desire has no bottom, but the bowl of gratitude and simplicity overflows endlessly. And that is the secret that shook a kingdom, transformed a king, and may just transform you if you let it.